Welcome, everyone, and we're going to have the special presentation ceremony. The Police Officer of the Month has been canceled or going to be postponed. Mr. Shelley, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing the next artist in the spotlight for the months of January and February. It's Robert L. Chaplin. And Robert L. Chaplin, when I first created this Artist in the Spotlight program, it started out as Art in the Chambers program because of the old City Hall, we had nothing on the walls. And so we were looking for a way to kind of make it more aesthetically pleasing to those in attendance, but at the same time, find a way to maybe promote our local up-and-coming artists. And so Robert was actually the first artist that participated in that program. So I'm excited now that he's coming back 4 or 5 years later now and recycling and has a new exhibit that he's promoting and he's doing at the Seminole Theater under the new Artist in the Spotlight program. So I'd like to invite him to come up and talk about his artwork and about the exhibit that you have going on.
Thank you, Councilman Shelley. Council, Mayor.
The microphone?
This side.
Yeah, hold on, he's got to turn it on.
Hello, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor. How are you, council, staff? It's good seeing you guys again. Can I move around there?
Yeah, sure, you can go over and pull the mic. There you go.
So, like Councilman Shelley said, this will be my second time in Homestead doing the Artist in the Spotlight. This chamber is actually, the first time I've been in here, it's aesthetically pleasing as it is, isn't it? So I have an exhibit over at the Seminole Theater, and I spend a lot of time in the Everglades. I guide people out there. I take people on swamp walks. And Councilman Shelley and I both have been out there together. Matter of fact, 3 of the photos in the exhibit, Councilman Shelley was with me when we took them. I'd like to invite everybody to come out. What's interesting, where do I go? Hold on. My name's Robert Chaplin, R.L. Chaplin Photography. I'm pretty active in Homestead. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Homestead. Along with Councilman Shelley, we're directors of the South Florida National Parks Camera Club. We invite everybody to come and see what we're all about. And what else do I do down here? Quite a few other things. But the exhibit is the Everglades. And the Everglades is a place that I thoroughly enjoy. I've grown up in South Florida, and we go out and take photos there. This exhibit is the first time for me to print on this media. This media is called bagasse. Does anybody know what bagasse is? Bagasse is sugarcane. Imagine that, printing an Everglades photo on some sugarcane paper. It's a fine art paper. It's got a 100-year display life. And I invite everybody to come out and see the exhibit at the Seminole Theater Monday night. We're having the, what do they call it, the reception. It's a gallery night at Seminole Theater, and I invite everybody to come out and see it and say hello. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Nothing else, Mr. Shelley? Okay, we're going to adjourn the special meeting presentation, and we will reconvene for the council meeting in just a few minutes. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Wednesday, January 18, 2017 council meeting to order. It's approximately 6:05 p.m. This evening we'll have the invocation by Pastor Reginald Joseph, pastor of the Haitian Evangelical Baptist Church of Homestead, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Larry Roth. Would you please stand? Pastor here.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to lead you into prayer. Let's bow our heads and pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you and we glorify you for who you are, what you've done among us. We thank you for all the great things that has been accomplished in this city by council members and by the elected officials. We thank you for the freedom that we enjoy every day to speak our mind and to say what we believe and what we think. So God, we pray over this meeting this evening. We ask you for wisdom over all the things that will be discussed and all the decisions that will be taken tonight for our city. We ask you for protection over our great city against all disasters, against all enemies. We ask you to keep us away from arms, from all incidents that may happen in the world, from all shootings, from all gang activities. We ask you to bless and protect our police officers in the way that they are keeping us safe. We thank you for prosperity that has been done already. We ask you for more blessings over our city, for our businesses and for our residents. So let your name be glorified in everything that we do tonight. And because you are all about freedom, liberty, and prosperity, we ask you to bless us with these things tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you. Please join me as we honor our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Councilman Roth. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess. Here. Councilman Roth.
Here.
Councilman Maldonado. Here. Councilman Shelley. Vice Mayor Faircloth.
Here.
Mayor Porter.
Here. Any additions, deletions, deferrals?
Yes, there's one addition which is listed on your supplemental agenda, which is CAR 2006, dealing with Landmark Entertainment. And unfortunately, there was an item that should have been on the consent agenda, item 1981, dealing with Main Street, which we'd like to have added to the consent agenda. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting last week.
Is there a motion to add item 1 to the agenda and 1981 to the consent agenda? Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Addendum 1. Mr. Manager?
Mayor, this agreement will supersede and replace the November 2016 agreement with Landmark. The agreement includes an increased scope from 30% schematic design to 100% final concept development drawings and a reduction in the length of time for completion of final design from 10 to 4.5 months with a completion date in mid-April 2017. The mid-April 2000 date is essential to ensure the city in a position to qualify for a new market tax credit funding for the project. These drawings will be provided to the architectural engineering firm on the project to develop 100% construction documents by the end of April. Due to the need to expedite this contract with Landmark, the city will use contingency to fund the additional $700,000 needed to amend the contract from $500,000 to $1.2 million. Because some of the original items originally anticipated to be covered by contingency may be realized within the next several weeks, a budget amendment from the general fund balance will be required to cover these items. Staff recommends Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing city manager to enter into an agreement with Landmark Entertainment Group.
Questions from council on addendum number 1? Okay, this is a public hearing. I'll open up the public comment section for public comment on addendum 1. Close the public hearing. Anything else, Mr. Manager?
No, thank you.
Anything from the council? Mr. Burgess?
Thank you, Mr. Manager. I believe even though it looks like we may be spending a lot more money out front here, in reality, there's just a little bit of extra cost to the city at the end of the day. Is that the way it was explained to me?
Right, our original budget hasn't changed. On this particular line item, we've gone up 100,000. We expect some of the other line items to go down substantially, but right now, really the only increase due to the expedited schedule would be $100,000.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there so that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess. Any final comments, Vice Mayor?
Yes, just for purposes for those of you that are viewing, can you explain why it is mission critical for us to move in this step at this point as opposed to taking it in phases?
Sure. We have applied for a program that's sponsored by the federal government called New Market Tax Credits, and they have a schedule. In order to get selected for this funding cycle, they're going to need 100%, they're going to need permitted construction documents before the end of what they call Q2, which means they need to have their documents sometime in early May for review in order for us to be able to convince the funding agencies that we're ready to, in essence, shovel ready. And so what'll happen now is we're in the competition with a whole bunch of other projects from all over the country for funding. We have the potential of getting up to $4 million in grant money. And what we're trying to do is kind of prepare ourselves, since we're going to need 100% construction drawings at some point anyway. Trying to do is at least qualify to get in line for the competition.
Right, and thank you for explaining that. And I wanted the public to understand that we're placing ourselves in a position to procure a large sum of money. So it's very important for us to move in this manner. So thank you for that clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other comments, any final comments? Is there a motion on addendum 1? Move it. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Tab 1, we're very fortunate to have our great commissioner join us tonight and give us an update on what she's been doing for us over the past couple of years and what her plans are for the next couple of years. So, Commissioner, please come forward. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Would you rather have the mic?
That's okay.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so very much for the privilege of being before you, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Vice Mayor, council members, clerk, attorneys, and members of the public, and the entire Homestead team. Things are always better in Homestead. That's what I have to say. I want to first introduce you to Ida Cardenas, who works with my staff, and she'll be taking pictures if that's okay, so we can tell more good stories about Homestead. So I'm here at the end of 2 years in office to report back to you on some of the things we've been working on together, and then to showcase some of the things ahead and to get your guidance on anything that you would like to direct me to. And when I started, I set out with a broad agenda on bringing a fair share to South Dade of county resources, bringing transportation solutions to our region, and isn't that what we all want every single day? Fighting and championing our parks and our environment, and expanding economic opportunity while improving government accountability. I've passed out a 2-year report for you. I'm not going to be going through that per se. I'm going to go over the highlights of things that have to do with Homestead particularly. And yeah, here's black and white. We ran out of the more attractive color version. Thank you, Councilman Maldonado. But I want to thank you for partnering with me so much during this time. It's been an honor. So in the Fair Share Department, which is important to all of us, which is to make sure that South Dade is not forgotten and that Homestead particularly is in strong partnership with the city of Homestead, we held 2 annual South Dade Solutions Summits. Many of you participated, the net result of which is we've now launched a South Dade marketing effort. And I want to thank you again. South Dade, more to explore is the tagline. And I hope, have great momentum going into it with support from Convention and Visitors Bureau. And recently I even learned that Convention and Visitors Bureau is no longer asking for a match on your local Homestead marketing efforts. And I think that's just proof positive that we've brought recognition to so much more to explore here and the assets, and that they really need to be promoting us. We don't need to be asking them, right? They need to really be present, because the visitors are going to want to come here, and they need to make sure that they help make sure that that happens. We've also partnered with you to bring $1.5 million for your downtown revitalization project. We're looking forward to approving that interlocal agreement in the very near future. And I know you've got many portions to this important plan, but we're proud to be part of it and building that with you. We also kicked off construction of a brand new $5 million pool complex for South Dade Park. So that was about a month ago. It's going to take, unfortunately, about a year to complete, but we're very excited about bringing a brand new facility to South Dade Park. On the transportation front, and traffic relief. Well, the rumor has it that Metro Rail is finally coming south. I'm not here to confirm or deny because I am not the one who's doing the negotiating, but I know they are looking at the price tag right now of bringing Metro Rail down to the road level, down to grade, and bringing it all the way down to Florida City. So that would mean a one-seat ride, potentially from Florida City all the way to the Broward line, because ideally they'll do the same on the 27th Avenue corridor going north. That will be an incredible improvement and restore transportation trust. In the meantime, we've brought new express buses to what is now called the Transit Way, renamed to anticipate great new transit, and that express bus service is operating from Homestead to avoid some of the intermediate stops and getting people to Dadeland Station more quickly. And we also updated buses in the fleet because about 70% of the county bus fleet is ready to retire, and we put $20 million into new buses, most of which have been deployed on the Transit Way so that people don't have to sit in the rain on the buses or deal with the roaches on the very old and dirty buses. We're also looking at the roads in Redland, and I'm sure you all know how in what bad shape they are. Rutted and many potholes. And when roads are outside the urban development boundary, we're not supposed to make road improvements. But that's not the same as maintaining the roads. They are in unsafe condition very often. And so we authored a study. We asked the county to produce a study on what would be the priority roads for repair, and then we're going to be advocating for those major arterial roads that need immediate resurfacing. Some of them have not been repaired in more than 30 years. So we're talking really crisis. On the parks and environment front, we've banned fracking in Miami-Dade County. This was quite an achievement. I'm very pleased about that. It applies countywide. And we also banned styrofoam only in county parks. And I would commend to you to consider for doing the same in Homestead parks. We're not allowed by state legislative order, they've preempted us, to ban styrofoam outright across our cities and county, but we can ban it within our own facilities. So city-owned property and parks and other facilities could ban it. We pressed for cleanup plan for the Turkey Point cooling canals, and we've been working with the South Florida Water Management District to expedite a restoration project east of Homestead that would restore wetlands and reverse saltwater intrusion into our aquifer. And we collaborated with Commissioner Putnam to contain the Oriental fruit fly. Thank goodness that worked, and we have been lobbying for financial relief for our farmers from winter rains. And of course, we've brought money also to fight the laurel wilt disease and fight the ambrosia beetle. And so now the county is going in, has the authority to go into lands where the landlord is not dealing with the ambrosia beetle problem and directly fight it. We collaborated with Councilman Shelley and Representative Raschine to advocate for the Biscayne Everglades Greenway, and now $329,000 from the Florida Department of Transportation has been advanced for both the city and county for that project. So it's a small part of the total figure, but thank you for your strong advocacy. We're getting there. On the economic opportunity front, I have been running a small business academy and a nonprofit academy. We graduated 30 businesses and 35 nonprofits this year, and we've been giving grants. It's $182,000 in combined to small businesses, and we want to encourage you to get out the word to your small businesses to join with us and your nonprofits. And we linked arms with Commissioner Moss and Mayor Jimenez to rehabilitate the Economic Development Council of South Dade, and they are now going to be in the position to implement the marketing campaign South Dade More to Explore and to continue their efforts to support business development. And finally, on the government accountability front, we did pass legislation that increases transparency around campaign finance, specifically for political committees and PACs, and we also codified the conflict of interest rules to bring it in alignment with state law. And we've recently, I don't know how you do zoning matters, but our zoning packets are now online, going to be online, and they'll be downloadable, and that will simplify it for the public that wants to be involved. So looking ahead to 2017, we're planning to accelerate transit solutions. So knock on wood here on this wonderful podium. we will see some kind of groundbreaking, I hope, within this year. Certainly, we will have finalized some plans. So that will be, we need more than plans, we need action. So I'm going to be very impatient about this and join with you in that. We've also working on reforming land use rules to create more incentives to protect our farmland and focus our future development along the smart growth corridors like the transit way. And we're also working on creating new markets for solar energy and green jobs, fighting climate change and preparing for sea level rise. And we're working on changes to the county code to better protect our dogs and cats from abuse and reduce the population of unwanted pets. And I know this is a topic very dear to all of you. And we're grateful that we were able to partner with you for the new clinic, but we need to do more, so much more about this persistent problem. And we're continuing to work to invest in South Dade, creating new job centers, better parks, roads, libraries. So that is my report in brief, and I would welcome any questions or suggestions, and I thank you again for your attention.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. We appreciate all that you do for us. You're always in attendance at all of the events in Homestead, and you're very accessible, recognizable, and it's very nice to have a commissioner put that much effort into our community, and so we really are grateful for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a joy.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I too want to thank you for the work that you do in District 8. You're extremely active and accessible, very knowledgeable about what's going on in your district, and you're working very hard to ensure that this district gets their fair share of the pie. Earlier, when you had just got elected, I had mentioned to you my frustration with the Beacon Council and the fact that I don't see their footprint in the South. So if you can continue to do what you can to ensure that the Deep South Dade is recognized by them, and they continue to not only work for the northern end of the county, but really help us down south to strengthen our economic vitality. And we really need their support. And if you can continue to advocate for us, I greatly appreciate it.
If I may respond, thank you through the chair. You know, I was on the Beacon Council board in service appointed by the previous chair, Chair Monesteem. The new chairman, Bovo, has appointed instead Commissioner Barrero to serve, which I am disappointed because I really was I was quite active in trying to create the agenda that you described. But I know that they're very committed to working with me on it. And just like the Convention and Visitors Bureau, realizing that there's much, much more to explore, I do believe that Beacon Council has also gotten that message, and I expect that we'll see more of them. Also because things are really changing for how they'll operate, in that the state incentive dollars have been greatly reduced and may be reduced further. And so instead of focusing so much on incentives for bringing new businesses and preventing relocation, they're going to be more involved in other ways. So I'm very hopeful, and with your permission, I'm actually speaking, I think it's tomorrow, to the chair of the board, Jarrett Davis, and I'll mention to him your desire and see if we can't have some direct conversations with him. Because they're doing the new CEO search, and this would be a very good time. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Manager?
Mayor, I'd just like to publicly thank the commissioner for all of her hard work on behalf of the city. Anytime I've had any issues or concerns, or the staff, the commissioner and her staff have been really awesome in helping us out. And the thing I'd like to most recognize is that we were looking for some grant monies for a downtown project, and because of the way the county system works, a pot of money opened up, and we didn't know about it, but the commissioner and her staff knew about it, and they raced to the front of the line, and they grabbed that money before anybody else, any of the other legislators even knew that it existed, and we were able to secure that money because of you and your staff, and we're very grateful for that. So thank you for everything you've done for us, and we don't have to rush up to you. You're normally rushing up to us to figure out how you can help us, and we're really grateful for that.
Thank you so much, and I feel the same about you, but if there's anything else that you see that you would like, I hope.
And to be clear, it wasn't a little bit of money. It was 1.5 million. So that's a little bit more than a little bit of money. So thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Maldonado?
Thank you, Mayor. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on the concept you have of more to explore in the South Dade area? I know that we've been working, and I know we have a representative that sits on our the Miami Beach Convention Bureau, and kind of we're trying to put our arms around tourism in the South Dade area. As you say, there's more to explore. We know that we have a lot of agricultural tourism going on. We have many folks that are traveling to our local parks, and they pass through this area. And so it's always been our concern and our care to kind of, and everything that we're doing now in the downtown area is to kind of enhance that tourism down south. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you're doing in regards to that?
Sure. So it's really a composite effort because there is already so much going on to promote. In Homestead, you have a committee, and there's also TIVA. So you've got many people at work on this, and Homestead has so much to offer on its own. And the idea was that as a region, we can really create where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and that if we use some common messaging, we can open up the South Dade region. Truthfully, there is no more interesting and vital part of the county than South Dade. First of all, we have the open space that others don't have. We have the beauty. We have the quiet. We have opportunities for development that other areas don't have as well. And we have all these unique features, the agriculture, the national parks, some really wonderful tourist attractions. So it's really that we are a great place to live, work, and play. And the idea was to capitalize on a desire to come into the region and spend some more time. Don't just come down to go to Robert Is Here. Don't just come down to go to Schnebley's. Come down and make a day of it. Visit the farms, visit downtown Homestead, take the trolley. We're trying to put it all into a package. Stay in one of our local hotels so you can make a weekend of it, and so on. So I think, Convention and Visitors Bureau will really help us for the out-of-town visitor, but we have a local market. Like, we're marketing to Miami-Dade residents. And, we want people to look south, not look north for their entertainment and recreational needs. So I think that's really the idea. People are always asking, well, I'd like to go down there. I really like it there, but what do I do once I get there? So we're trying to put that all together and turn it into a regional approach. So Convention and Visitors Bureau has actually put a good bit of money into helping to develop the brand and to continue to work with us on the marketing. Diana Gonzalez, who's the consultant that worked with Tomorrow South Dade, also developed the marketing plan for this effort, and it's done and will be out very soon. So obviously we will share that with you. But everybody will see themselves in it, and then there'll be a website where all of the amenities can be featured, and you can do the poster mix and match. You can, so it'll be a common point of entry. Does that answer your question?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're also trying to get some state funding. Representative McGee has agreed to sponsor. I spoke to Representative Jose Javier Rodriguez. He serves on the Tourism Committee and also on Appropriations, so he's willing to support. I've reached out to Representative Bileca and Senator Flores, and we'll be reaching out to Representative Rushine. So we're hoping that we'll get a little bit more money to actually put some meat on the bones. But the Economic Development Council, which, by the way, is going to be housed within a new incubator that we're creating in Cutler Bay called Accelerate South Dade. We're looking for small businesses and nonprofits to come in and be incubated, and they will be our anchor tenant and be responsible for implementation of the plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, sir?
And that's it for.
Mr. Shelley?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to echo some of my colleagues' comments and just thank you for what you do for the district, and thank you for your compassion and your genuine caring about our community, the city of Homestead, and the constituents that reside herein. I've had a chance to work with you on some projects and see firsthand, the work ethic you have and the care that you have for what you do and the passion that you put into it. So I just wanted to publicly thank you for that, and thank you for being a good partner with us here at the city of Homestead.
Thank you. Thank you. And if I could, just to wrap it up, say thank you for partnering on the great project for the 100th anniversary of the parks, and I was so honored to come down and be recognized for that effort. What a great effort. And since Mickey is here, I need to mention what a great place Seminole Theater is, and we promote it every chance we can get, and all the great acts, and so much more to explore right here in Homestead. So thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Got a couple more
members.
questions here.
Oh,
Mr. Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. And Commissioner, thank you. I've worked with you, and one of the biggest things that we worked on was bringing down the spay and neuter clinic. And
Exactly.
it was your office, I had spoke with Mr. Munoz, Alex Munoz there, and things seemed to stall. But once I got you engaged, the doors seemed to open. I don't know who was kicking who in the backside, but things started moving quickly. And because of that, I think we've done over 1,200 spay and
Oh, my
neuters just out
goodness.
of that clinic. And it's only a part-time clinic, so that means a lot.
and thank you for reminding me, because we do need to increase the days, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
So I
We
need to
certainly
put
do.
that into my budget request.
So thank you for that, and thank you for your work on the transportation, because that's an important thing to us down here, as our people are stuck between a rock and a hard spot with a 3-hour bus ride from here to downtown, which,
Yeah.
is impossible for people to do with a working schedule and have any kind of quality of life before or after their job. So that, and just as we spoke about the $1.5 million, she stood strong that day, because some of us were down there, and there was a senior commissioner, and we won't call anybody by names tonight, but he was not happy to be taking half of his money and giving it to Homestead. So it was a battle that day. So thank you very much, because that was an important day for Homestead and getting us that money down here. And you stood strong, and we certainly do appreciate it, and look forward to you standing strong for us for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you, and you can count on us to keep watching for opportunities like that. Yeah.
It is interesting, he thought it was his money. It's not so fast. Mr. Roth.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that you've been an inspiration to me personally. I see you at many, many events. You were with us last night as we were together for children at the meeting that they had at Southridge Senior High School. And it's very obvious that this council respects you, and it's well-deserved. And I just want to say thank you for your service to us, our city, and our citizens here. And I know that you're always looking out for our best interests, and we truly appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
We appreciate everything. Thanks for coming down and giving the community an update. This is a good forum to get the information that you're doing out to the community. A lot of people watch and keep up with what we're doing. So when you have something, you're always welcome to come down and give us an update on your actions and what you do and what you need.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for sharing your office with me when we come down for Homestead office hours and letting me drink your Diet Coke. I appreciate that.
That's where all that Diet Coke's going.
Yes, yeah. A steady diet, and we're off to the opening event for the rodeo. So I'm off to have some fun. That's what we do in Homestead. Is that right? Okay.
That's tomorrow.
I'm not doing the bucking bronco. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate your time. I know we want to clap, but that's against our decorum policy, and we have to be consistent across the board on it. We love the commissioner, so we're gonna have to do some other way to celebrate her. But yeah, a little happy hands or something. But for the record, the decorum policy does not allow. Moving on, is there a motion on the consent agenda as amended? Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Public hearing, Mr. Attorney? James, hold on. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, please be advised, the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization, and further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, Any lobbyists must register before addressing the council on the following quasi-judicial items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any of the quasi-judicial items. Hearing none at this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on the following quasi-items.
Please stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, please state your name, hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
Tab 13 is a final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a certificate of use to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-premises consumption in conjunction with the operation of a hotel located at 935 Northeast 30th Terrace, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
Anything from staff, Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cordino, hold on.
Sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
We're recommending approval of this. It's in conjunction with the new Marriott Hotel. We've evaluated for the city code, and it conforms with that. So again, approval is recommended.
This is the new extended stay Marriott behind the two that front on
Yeah, this is the Marriott Town, we call it the Town Place Suites Hotel.
Suites, okay,
So it's
perfect.
the new hotel.
Any questions from council? Okay, this is a public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. Any comments, questions from the public? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Would you like to say something? Anything from the applicant? Come forward, sir. Yes, sir. Sometimes it's, when you got it rolling, you just kind of let it roll.
That's all right.
Name and address, please, sir.
George Cepero, 4651 Sheridan Street, representing the applicant. And let me start by saying this is my first time in the new home, so it looks pretty awesome. Glad to be here. I just wanted to make a quick clarification. Before I get to it, of course, very happy to have added our third hotel right here in Homestead. We're very proud of it. You've all seen what we've done with the first two, so we're very excited for you guys to see this one as well, a little bit of a different product. But like the other two, I just wanted to clarify, I think for expediency purposes, the language got a little narrowed in the staff report, so I wanted to clarify. The staff report mentions that beverages would be served in the sweet shop. The sweet shop's actually a really small area where you sell peanuts and Cokes. Like the other hotels, alcoholic beverages will be served throughout the premises during events. If there's a dinner or something, you could get your open container, a glass of whatever you're drinking. So it's throughout the hotel for events. It's not restricted to just that one area. That's the only thing I wanted to clarify.
Mr. Cordino, that's still in accordance with the approval?
Yes, sir, that's what we believed as well.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the clarification. Any final comments or questions? Is there a motion for approval? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley? Vice Mayor Faircloth?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes,
The motion carries.
thank you. Tab 14.
Yes, tab 14 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a final replat approval of Tract C for the subdivision of an approximately 8.6 acre parcel into two lots located at 2601 Northeast 9th Court as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Mr. Cordino?
Yes, sir, we're recommending the mayor and council approve this resolution granting the final replat for this property that's located. This is consistent with all the criteria set forth in the code, our code and Miami-Dade County Code, same with the state. So again, largely ministerial, just a replat, recommending approval.
It's largely
A
administrative.
ministerial action, so we're recommending approval.
Questions from council? I'll open up the public hearing at this time. Any questions from the public, comments from the public? Questions from the applicant? Close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley? Councilman Maldonado? Vice Mayor Faircloth? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
At 15,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I would normally read this, but I'm not familiar with the subject matter at all, so I'd like James to handle this one.
Mr. White?
It's tab 15. That concludes your legislative matters. Moving on, I'm sorry, that concludes your quasi. Moving on to legislative matters. Your first item for consideration is tab 15. This is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, establishing a 12-month moratorium on the submission, processing, and approval of applications for local business tax receipts, certificates of occupancy, land use and zoning reviews, development applications, land use or zoning development orders for the establishment or operation of medical marijuana facilities as further defined herein, providing for construction, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. If you recall, Mayor, council members, this was on your committee of the whole meeting for discussion on December 21st, 2016, where the draft ordinance was placed for your consideration. Discussion ensued. You all directed staff and us to proceed with finalizing that ordinance to bring a draft moratorium ordinance before you for consideration. That's what's before you this evening. What that does is it provides an opportunity for the city to examine this issue, to look at it, to wait to see what happens in the 2017 legislative session with regards to the implementation of the recently approved constitutional amendment number 2 on medical marijuana, and to come back to you at the conclusion of that 2017 legislative session to assess it and to get further policy direction. So that's
perfect.
Basically what this moratorium is a tool to allow us the ability to have some breathing time to look at it, assess, to make policy decisions or not.
And it also allows the outside public to realize that the city's not willing to do anything during that, at least that 12-month period, at least talk about it. Because I think originally we had some communication from some outside entities that were looking to talk about establishing some distribution facilities in Homestead. So it lets the outside world know that we're waiting for things to settle out at the state level. And correct?
That is correct.
Any questions or comments from council? Mr. Burgess, did you? Nope. This is a public hearing. You're welcome to come speak. I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments, questions? Mr. Maldonado?
Thank you, Mayor. To the manager, maybe through staff, is it possible for you guys to have someone that's, aware of what's happened legislative-wise, stay on top of it? So as I think something just came out. I haven't been able to read it, but I think they already put something out there already. I don't know if anyone else is aware of it in regards to this. And so if they could pass that information to us and also keep up to date so that we'll know how to handle this as it rolls forward.
We're going to consult with our local marijuana expert, James White, along with our state lobbyists, and we'll stay on top of it.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Is there a motion?
Move it.
Is there moved and seconded? Any final comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Faircloth?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 16. Mr. Manager?
Mayor, in order to increase revenue for the Seminole Theater, the city intends to apply for the requisite state-issued license to allow for the sale and distribution of liquor at the Seminole Theater and to allow Pinnacle to operate under that license as permitted by state law. Staff recommends Mayor and Council approve the addendum to management agreement with Pinnacle Venue Services for the Seminole Theater. The city intends to apply for the state license. The addendum further defines the responsibilities and obligations of each party as it relates to the sale and distribution of liquor and related alcoholic beverages within the Seminole Theater, and provides that there's increased insurance coverage, indemnification by Pinnacle of the city to address any potential liability, and Pinnacle's strict compliance with all laws, regulations related to alcohol service. And beyond this being just a revenue issue for the theater, it's also a service issue as well. They feel they can handle the service better in-house than some of the other solutions they've had thus far.
I know in the past, it's kind of been operated on someone else's license, and that license may not be available any longer. Let me ask one question. This license would belong to the city, so subsequent to any change in operations to the management, we would have we would have the right to the license?
Yes, the license would belong to the city.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Burgess?
Just wanted to say thank you. I've had a meeting with the Pinnacle representatives and the management, and some of the complaints that I've received was the inability to partake in the adult beverages there, or the pricing that was there and the service. So I think as we try to enhance and make that a better a better evening for everybody that wants to partake in that, I think this will be much better. As you said, Mayor, we were working on somebody else's license, and their care or their ability to fulfill wasn't there. So I think this will be much better for the shows and the people that want to partake in those festivities. Thank you.
I totally agree, sir. Any other questions or comments from council? Ms. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. How much will this cost, and what is the timeline?
$250 for the license application from the state. The timeline will be something that we'll have to work with Pinnacle on. There's steps that they have to take, such as getting the board members fingerprinted, and then there's steps that we have to take with respect to application. This is the first step, which would permit them to operate under that license once we receive that license.
Since the timeline hasn't been defined, what is the goal?
4 to 6 months, hopefully sooner.
Okay, just to give the community an understanding of how long it would take and when they'll be able to enjoy the adult beverages. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other questions from council? This is a public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. You're welcome to speak. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth? Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Burgess? Vice Mayor Fairclough? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Item 17.
Yes, if there were any questions on the adult beverage item, I would have been able to answer those questions.
Well, you jumped out of the first marijuana question. Why did you jump into the alcohol question?
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the First Amendment to the Downtown Terminal Project Professional Services Agreement with the Goodman Corporation, exempting the agreement from competitive bidding in accordance with Section 2-411.182 of the City Code, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Staff report.
On October 26, 2016, Mayor and Council approved Resolution 2016-10103, authorizing city manager to enter into an agreement whereby the Goodman Group would provide professional services to include assistance with the transfer of FHWA funding to the FTA by establishing the city as an FTA grantee, the development of environmental and advanced planning documentation, and the submittal of a request for a letter of no prejudice. The amendment to this agreement encompasses additional services related to an expanded project scope, corridors of improvement, site planning support, additional assistance with the FTA grantee package, securing the entire federal earmarked funds, development of a disadvantaged business enterprise plan and goal, and an FTA compliance manual, technical support for the FTA grantee package, and assistance with the public-private partnership procurement and development of the agreement. Staff recommends Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing city manager to amend the existing agreement with the Goodman Group as it relates to the City of Homestead Downtown Intermodal Terminal Project and FTA activities. Mayor and Council, as you know, this involves the federal funds that we received as part of the Congressman Curbelo, the earmarking of the funds. Those monies go to the Federal Transit Administration. In order for them to go to the city would need to be designated a grantee, and then the FTA would administer those monies for us. But there's a process involved with that that's fairly complicated, and so these consultants are working with us on that.
Questions from council? I know this is a very complicated process, and it's a very important process because there's a lot of dollars laying out there that we've got to capture. So,
and one other point is we can't really finalize an agreement with a public-private partner on the transit project until we receive the grantee status and the letter of no prejudice. So time is of the essence here as well.
Any other questions from council? This is a public hearing. You're more than welcome to come and ask questions, speak on behalf, for, or against. Close the public hearing. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fairclough?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 18,
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving an agreement with the Goodman Corporation for the evaluation of proposed improvements to the South Miami-Dade Busway, exempting the transaction from competitive bidding in accordance with 2-411.182 of the City Code, providing for implementation and effective date.
report from staff.
Mayor, the city needs to retain, well, actually, the city is recommending retaining consulting services to conduct a thorough review of the Miami-Dade Metropolitan Planning Organization 2016 South Miami-Dade Corridor Study. Consultants will provide cost and ridership analysis with details on each transit option, including vehicle type, cost, speed, stop characteristics, and corridor improvements and signalization. Staff recommends Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing city manager to enter an agreement with the Goodman Corporation to provide information and recommendations regarding decision factors between bus rapid transit and commuter rail transit, light rail transit options. Mayor, as you know, the county is right now in the middle of going through all of their corridor routes throughout the county and starting to make decisions on where they'll start funding routes and what exactly they'll be funding, if anything. And what we're suggesting to the council here is, as we've been working with the Goodman Group and them having a really strong understanding of the federal system and how to maximize your chances of having your project fund, and also understanding the timelines and rolling out a rapid transit system. What I thought would be good for us as a city is to take a leadership role in really understanding what our options are, what our position is, what is the best path to victory here, and then taking a leadership role in getting the South Dade mayors together and solidified on a proposal, and then figuring out how to jump in front of everybody to secure the first batch of funding. It's fairly certain that however many routes, if any, the county's funds, they won't be all 6. And so somebody's going to be first. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to be the first. We think there's a strong argument to be made that we should be the first. We also think there's a strong argument to be made that for us right now, bus rapid transit is a better option. We're very concerned that the light rail option, which is being discussed, could take anywhere from 10 to 14 years to implement, and that could obviously stifle our downtown redevelopment efforts. So we really want, as an expert, to analyze all the information and basically educate us so that we all know and understand all the issues that are involved, so that we're out there pushing for whatever your position ultimately is. At least we have somebody with subject matter expertise to help us along the way.
Well, I will say this is really an important issue for us because we're getting a lot of conflicting data, timelines, and Homestead is going to be, the leader of this effort, simply because this city has a seat on the MPO and it has representation that can represent the rest of the mayors and that don't currently have representation. But the conflict is the lack of clarity, because we've heard 3 years from certain people, we've heard a quarter of the price from certain people, but there's not a lot of documentation to back up any of that. So I think what this gives us is the ability to dig out the true, as best we can, the facts of the matter, so that we as the leadership role players can go forward and build a consensus with the South Dade group that says, look, if you want transportation, you need to start here, or we can wait another 14, 15 years and still get what we could have today. So that's a real important issue for us. All of us are concerned. All of us are getting bombarded with the traffic issues, and transit is going to be one of the main keys that's going to help us overcome the transportation problem, because right now you don't have a solution other than get in line and wait. So the commissioner was just talking about the one-seat ride. That'd be great, but if that's going to take 15 to 20 years, that's not really an option for us today. So I'm hoping that what we can get out of this study is a better timeline for all of us to realize what we're up against. And then we, I think, can get together with our other elected officials in the South Dade corridor and say, we'll lead it and push the ball forward for the solution for us more quickly than waiting for someone else to fight over the solution. So that's a really important issue, and I appreciate you bringing that forward, Mr. Manager. Mr. Maldonado?
Thank you, Mayor. To the manager, do we have a point person that's attending from staff that is attending the meetings, the commission meetings, and basically keeping a finger on the pulse of what's happening? I mean, just today, I just heard the commissioner kind of saying that we might have obviously they're talking about extending, the Metro Road down south, and of course that's what we've been talking about. But when those meetings are happening at the commission level, I know that is this organization going to be a point person and following up with that, or is this they're going to be working separate, doing their due diligence? And if that's the case, are we going to have someone from staff? Well, I would recommend that we'd have someone on staff and have a point person that they keep the ear to the ground, and so we are fully aware of what's happening. Unfortunately, as I drive north, which is as rare as possible, I try not to go up there just because it's very hectic. But looking at the homes that were all just built off of 112th Avenue in the Naranja, Cutler Ridge area, Cutler Bay area, I mean, that is a significant amount of homes, and they're still popping up. And so if it already takes us 2 hours to 3 hours to get up to Miami, how much more as all these multi-family homes come online? Because at least here in Homestead, we've kept it to where we want single-family homes, so we've kept the footprint, the number of homes to a level. But and unincorporated Miami-Dade, you see multiple townhouses, multi-family homes there by the boatload. And so it's very concerning for myself, and I don't even drive up north. So my heart goes out to everyone who does, because it's, I think, I'm try to attend the Beacon Council meetings, but, with the time frame that they put it in, by the time I get out, I have to leave my house at 5 in the morning to make their 10 o'clock meeting. That's 5 hours difference. It's crazy. So, I guess, do we have a point person?
Yes, the consultant won't be the person interacting with the county on those regular things that they do. They'll be kind of digging into the paperwork and then having some conversations with their experts, but staff will be monitoring that as well.
Thank you.
Currently, Julio, you're monitoring a lot. I know you get the same agenda for the MPO, so you're aware of moving parts and pieces as far as the planning agency is concerned. And I know you also communicate with county staff as far as projects. The issue isn't that, to me, look, the SMART plan, the MPO plan is not a new plan. It's been on the table a very, very long time. The lack of being able to move the plans forward is the biggest issue. And from our perspective, I believe that the factual information that's being portrayed as facts is not necessarily factual, because there's a lot of political moving around in that sphere that if we can dig out and get a little bit better information to this council and other councils in the South Dade corridor, coalesce around that one solution that moves that ball, then we pressure the commission, we pressure the MPO, we pressure those people to look at this corridor because it's already acquired. The right-of-way is there, the road bed is there. Other corridors, they have acquisition, they have right-of-way problems, they have nothing compared to this corridor. So I think if we get the factual information through our own paid consultant, which is not the consultant that's paid to give the information that the county wants to give or that the state wants to give or that somebody else wants to give. Let's get our version of that. Then we have a better ability to move that forward with at least some contrasting information or comparable information that we can feel comfortable about. It may be closer to the truth. It may not be the truth, but it may be closer to the truth than anything else that we're currently getting. So, but you are monitoring it from
Correct.
staff.
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Maldonado?
Thank you, Mayor. So are you getting emails or agendas for, not, I know he said from the MPO, but on the commission meetings when they're having these discussions?
The commission meetings, no, not at this time, but I'll
Right.
make sure that that takes place.
Well, I mean,
I'm
it's a boatload of meetings, it's a
Correct.
boatload of agendas that are coming your way, so, and this is, again, my concern, is how do we filter out of all that information and to keep our finger on that pulse? Because there's a lot of moving parts, like the mayor just said, and we're all aware of it. And the minute we take our eye off the ball in regards to that,
Right.
they're going to do a quarterback sneak on us. And I do not want that to happen. So that's why I kind of bring this up. Is there a point person? I know, so from staff, technically you are the point person.
I will be the point person, yes.
Okay, and
Make
so how you guys work that out and make sure that we get the commission meetings as well, because, it'd be nice even for us, like if you know that a commission meeting is coming up in regards to that, it'd be nice for us to get an email saying, by the way, this is going to be on the agenda. Maybe one of us can show up. And even, when asked for any public comments, we'd be more than happy to, share something. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions from council on tab 18? This is a public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. You're welcome to speak, ask questions. Close the public hearing. Is there a motion on tab 18? Is there a second? Any final comments, questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilman Shelley? Yes. Councilman Roth? Yes. Vice Mayor Faircloth? Yes. Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 19.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, authorizing the city manager to amend the agreement on behalf of the City of Homestead with James McCullough for professional consulting services and to further authorize the city manager to renew for subsequent terms, providing for an effective date.
Mayor, on August of 2016, the city retained JMI in order to provide consulting services with regard to the parking garage project and part of the city's discussions with Axiom in Texas. JMA has performed various services included but not limited to assisting the city with the project coordination and oversight, attend progress meetings, monitor progress and ongoing items, and review issues as they arise, work with city staff on strategy and planning in the effort to meet the project goals, review documents and correspondence regarding the project, and provide recommendations to the city staff as necessary. Staff recommends the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to amend the existing professional services agreement with JMI, which was originally executed on August 22nd, 2016, from $25,000 to $50,000.
Questions from council? This is a public hearing. You're welcome to ask questions, speak for or against. Close the public hearing. Any final comments? Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley? Councilman Maldonado? Vice Mayor Faircloth? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Tab 20.
Mr. Mayor, if it's all right, I'd like to take 20 and 21 together. They're both involve retaining Greenberg Charter to provide us with specialized legal help dealing with the multimodal center and the library. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the engagement of the law firm of Greenberg Charter to represent the city in matters pertaining to new markets tax credit for financing for the Homestead Multimodal Transit Center, exempting the transaction from competitive bidding in accordance with 411.182 of the City Code, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving an engagement of the law firm of Greenberg Charter to represent the city in matters pertaining to new market tax credits for the Homestead Library project, exempting the transaction from competitive bidding, in accordance with Section 2-4-11.1A2 of the City Code, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date. There's certain areas of the law that we just don't feel comfortable operating in, and so we recommend that we use outside counsel for that, and Greenberg Traurig has specialized expertise in dealing with this new market tax credit, which is so complicated. And so that's why we're making this recommendation.
Anything from you, Mr. Manager? No? No. Okay. Questions from council on tab 20 and 21? No questions. I'll open up the public hearing on tab 20 and 21. You're welcome to ask questions, come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing on tab 20 and 21. Is there a motion on tab 20? Is there a second? Second? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth? Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Shelley? Councilman Burgess? Vice Mayor Faircloth? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Is there a motion on tab 21? Is there a second? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Shelley? Councilman Burgess? Councilman Roth? Councilman Maldonado? Vice Mayor Faircloth? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
The next item is our public comment section. I have Mr. Carlos, is it Felides? Mr. Felides? Carlos? Is that Rogue? Evangelio Rogue. Mr. Rogue? No. Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Sullivan. Good evening.
Kevin Sullivan, 1860 Southeast 6th Court. A little history lesson here. We're talking about downtown. My first property that I bought to live in was in 1984, right after I got out of school. About 6 months or 8 months after I was there, I got a notice that on my utility bill, we were going to be charged a surcharge because we were onto Chrome Avenue. The city was going to improve the drainage there so we could upgrade our business climate in downtown Homestead. Now, I don't know who's driven on downtown Homestead lately, but I walk there every so often, and I'm going to tell you, the sidewalk isn't crowded. There's nobody there. Now, tonight you passed a lot of resolutions to upgrade this, to get consultants for that, and I see where some of the funding comes from grants. I love grants, as long as they don't come out of my pocket. But some of it is coming from our utility slush fund. Now, back in the budget time, you took $6 million out of that to help alleviate any increase in taxes. Hey, that's all well and good, but a lot of people don't pay into that. In fact, a couple of you sitting up here don't pay into the city utility because you live in an FPL district. It's time you try to treat us all fair. Get rid of the slush fund. In other words, let us pay what we're supposed to pay, and if you need more taxes, charge everybody. Don't just take it out of us. And your downtown district, if you remember, was maybe making a little bit of a comeback, and then some council people decided to drop the background check. And then we got a guy come in, and he hustled and bustled. Nobody knew he was a sex pervert, but in any case, it all exploded. So who's responsible for that? Maybe not you sitting there because you weren't there, but the council is responsible for the actions of the council, and it affects the citizens. So let's make some wise decisions here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shore, Wayne?
My name is Wayne Shore. I'm the commander of the VFW post, Aaron Smith, 4127. And I'm a little remiss right now. I apologize. This is in regards, I want to say a thank you to the city council, mayor, chief, and staff for the Veterans Day Parade that we had in November. It's one of those things that you get caught up in the holidays and running a business, time gets along, so I just had to stop the clock, find out when there was a city council meeting, and say thank you very much for your support this year and years for the future, especially the chief and your staff and everybody else. I don't know y'all, but thank you. Thank you, everybody. So that's all I wanted to say was thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Nicole Guzman? Okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Guzman?
Good evening, Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, City Council, City Attorney, City Manager, staff. Good evening. I'm with the American Cancer Society, my name is Nicolai Guzman. I'm the Community Manager for the Homestead Relay for Life. And we had come here to try to have the fees waived for a kickoff party that we're going to be having at Lausner Park for the season to sign up teams. That would be from 6 to 8 p.m. And we also wanted to get the fees waived for the actual use of the sports complex for the relay.
It did. It did get waived.
Oh, okay,
Both
great.
have done, that was it's all taken
Okay,
care of.
great. Well, I just wanted to thank the council, mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, and staff. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, that's all we have in public comments. Let's go to business from the city manager.
Mayor, I hope you'll indulge me. I don't normally surprise you all, and I don't normally take up a whole lot of time. We have a little bit of a video clip that's one of the segments in this month's Inside Homestead, and since this is really your program, particularly Councilman Shelley, your leadership, and those of you who have been big supporters of this, we thought this was a good opportunity to highlight something that's important for the downtown and for the city, and as you talk about tourism and more to explore, we thought this was the perfect time to highlight this clip. So staff took their time on a Saturday to go out and do this, so thought they'd want to highlight their work as well. So with that, let's hope the clip works.
Nice photo of Josh.
We're here in Lausner Park in the heart of downtown Homestead to explore South Florida's natural treasures on the Homestead National Parks Trolley. Every weekend from winter to spring, this trolley not only gives you free transportation to and from the parks, but also includes free admission to the parks and a free guided tour along the way. Riders on the trolley don't just get a free ride, they also get to learn about the history and ecology of Homestead and South Dade, thanks to the trolley guides. Homestead embraced its unique position as the gateway to Everglades and Biscayne National Parks by creating this award-winning eco-tourism program to draw more visitors to downtown Homestead and encourage its own residents to get out and explore nature. Our first stop is Biscayne National Park, which borders Homestead to the east. Now this is my first time visiting the park, so I'm really excited. We were lucky enough to bump into Park Ranger Denise Radijak, a Homestead native who has been with the park for 4 years now.
Well, you can expect a most spectacular view. We are a 95% water park, and we have lots of great animals here to see. Manatees are here this time of the year. We've had dolphins in the bay behind us here. Lots of birds come here to roost during the winter, and we have more than 200 species of fish. My favorite part of this park is the water, the amazing views that we have from the visitor center. I love working up there and looking out over the ocean and watching it constantly change. A beautiful sunny day is one personality. Love watching the rainstorms come in and making it another personality. So I never get tired of that.
Biscayne National Park is a rare combination of aquamarine waters, coral reef, and emerald islands. There's even evidence of 10,000 years of human history, like shipwrecks and pirates. Now, outdoor enthusiasts can enjoy boating, snorkeling, camping, or just chilling by the bay, enjoying the view. Now, Biscayne National Park is 95% water, so we're gonna hop on a boat to experience. Come on. Biscayne National Park offers guided boat tours that depart at 10 a.m. and sometimes at 1:30 p.m. Now, you're gonna wanna check out the park calendar for specific dates and times. These boat tours feature the Miami-Dade Park's Pelican Skipper, a smooth-riding 45-foot power catamaran. These tours are guided by national park captains, where you'll learn about the history, wildlife, and ecosystems of the park, while taking in the beautiful scenery along the way. Each tour lasts about 3 hours and includes opportunities to explore popular and scenic Boca Chica Key, which features the park's iconic and historic lighthouse.
Most often people say, I never knew this existed. And they are so thrilled to have seen this park. And I'm delighted to have shared it with them.
After exploring the island, it was time to head back to the mainland so we could hop on the trolley to go to our next stop, which just so happens to be right next door. I tell you, after all this action today, it's time for a little break. And what better place to do that than here at Homestead Bayfront Park. With its own beach, atoll pool, and its own restaurant, you can have all the fun and relaxation that you can handle. Dock away from it all at this gateway to the Florida Keys. Lay out and relax by the atoll pool, or grab a bite to eat upstairs while enjoying views of the crystal clear waters of South Biscayne Bay. Or bask in the beautiful South Florida weather while having fun in the sun that everyone can enjoy. After that nice break, I was ready to hit the road again for our next and last stop, Everglades National Park. Now, the Everglades is the third largest national park in the United States, so something's telling me I probably shouldn't have saved this one for last. Now, the Everglades, also known as the River of Grass, spans over 1.5 million acres across southern Florida. Now, when you're visiting the Everglades, you're going to notice a wide variety of plant and wildlife, and they all live in completely different ecosystems like the mangroves, cypress domes, and tropical hammocks. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of land to cover and a lot to explore, so it's important to be prepared. Good start, sunblock, and plenty of insect repellent. Well, I just so happened to bump into another park ranger, Maria Thompson, who was willing to tell me a little bit more about the park.
Well, the Everglades National Park is one of the treasures of the country, of the world, if you want to say it. We have visitors coming from around the planet to come. It's very unique. It's 1.5 million acres. It's the first park that was created to protect biodiversity, 86% of wilderness, great places to see wildlife. So really, the park has so many things to offer. Everybody can find something that they care about. We have visitors that have been to the park many, many times, and they keep coming, and every time they come, they find something exciting about it.
Can you tell me what kind of other animals we find here?
We have panthers, manatees, dolphins, alligators, crocodiles, 350 species of birds, snakes, turtles, fish. Wherever you want, we find it in Everglades National Park.
After a full day of sightseeing and exploring all three parks, I was feeling thrilled, informed, and exhausted. And to think this trolley got me into all the parks and back to town free of charge, that's a pretty sweet deal. So I guess in closing, I'd say, take advantage of this, and take advantage of the natural beauty that is this country. There's a whole world out there worth exploring, and some of it is in our own backyard.
A special thanks to Josh and Karen and Zach and everybody involved with that. I thought it was a great way to highlight a program that I know is very dear to your hearts, and thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, sir. That was very nice. Mr. Shelley, Mr. Attorney, you have anything?
No, sir.
Mr. Shelley, business from City Council?
I didn't necessarily have any, but after seeing that, I just want to thank my colleagues for supporting the projects that I brought forward regarding the trolley and the tourism and being the gateway to the national parks. And first time I'd seen that, but it came up really well. And to see the number of people that we're now be able to get through our downtown and out to the national parks to experience our national treasures. And, it makes me very happy. And I want to thank you guys for your support and for helping me move those projects forward and continuing to move those projects and those initiatives forward. So, and thank you to city staff as well for all your hard work on that. So, that's all.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Maldonado.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, first, traffic concerns. I got my ear bent by some residents in my community over at Waterstone in regards to traffic issues on 312 and Waterstone Way. Now, I know that Julio, we've spoken about in length, the process of putting traffic lights off of 312th Street and Waterstone Way. So, sometimes, our residents don't want to hear for them it's an excuse that someone's not, keeping, again, the finger on the pulse. So I told them that I would reach out to the council and to staff and to kind of follow up on where we're at and how do we put something in place so that we're making sure that if there's a number that we have to hit to trigger some kind of assessment or traffic signal or some mediation on that area, that we would be able to notify them right away and start moving on that. I sometimes I get a sense that it's something that's unattainable, but I don't want to, they don't want to hear that, and I don't want to give them that answer. So, what can we do in regards to that? And maybe we just have to have a meeting with them in regards to what other opportunities or options that they would have on 312 and Waterstone Way. So, what do you think, Julio?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because it gives me an opportunity to speak to what the staff here, the city staff, is doing to try to push the county to address some of our issues. And that is one of the ones that we continue to harp on them. Just recently, I would say, less than a month ago, they did their latest study that they follow certain rules and guidelines that trigger whether or not a traffic signal is going to be warranted or not. And again, that particular intersection did not meet that criteria. We continue harping on it. They're using the same methodology on us that they do throughout the county.
Right.
So it's hard for us to tell them, don't follow your own rules. But at the same time, we keep hoping that we'll get there in terms of having a traffic signal there. I do want to caution people into thinking that a traffic signal is a solution for everything, and it's not. Traffic, there's a lot of reasons why traffic problems occur. Some of them are capacity related. Some of them are movement design oriented. In this case, a traffic signal. Whether a traffic signal there would solve the Waterstone issues, I don't know. I don't know unless, until a real study of a design is put forward. So from a city staff point of view, we understand the concerns that are out there, and we continue to harp on the county. I mean, we're there constantly bringing up not only new issues, but old issues that haven't been resolved yet. And it's just, I guess it's concerning the fact that the city does not have control over traffic signals per se. And that is one of the avenues that we are trying to push forward to see if there's a way that cities could take some sort of control in terms of traffic signals and be able to design our future when it comes to those type of issues. But that is something that it's a hard issue, but that's where I think all this is going towards.
Councilman, we had a conversation when Commissioner Levine Cava assembled the various cities. They had somebody from the county there, and I asked the question about what would it take for a city to take over the traffic lights and kind of control its own destiny, because as he described it, the biggest issue for them is, and he mentioned the number of traffic lights they're responsible for and the amount of traffic signs they're responsible for, and they have like maybe 8 engineers or some crazy number. So you're talking about millions of lights and signs and this entire county, and then a very skeleton crew, which they admitted they just don't have enough staff. And then on top of that, as you think about who's best suited to identify more quickly what the unique needs are of a particular city, particularly a city like Homestead that's so far away from everything else. And our police department knows so much more about what's going on than anybody, the county could ever, because they're just there all the time, as is our public works staff. So it makes a lot of sense for a variety of reasons. He said he was amenable to having a discussion with us, but they also have had a policy of, it's basically, if you control it, you're also going to assume liability. So obviously, it's a really big decision for a city to go down that route, and so we're going to need to take a much closer look to it. And as you think about assuming liability for all those roads, that could have a tremendous impact on us financially as well.
Thank you. You said, Julio mentioned that, the studies that take place and that there was one that just happened recently. Is it possible that you provide that information to us so that we may disseminate it? At the moment, with my staff, and I'm not sure how the rest of council would want to kind of take this information and pass it along to their residents, where I'm making sure I'm establishing a communication with my district in order to disseminate that information, because their thought is always that that no one's watching this, and that no one really cares about them, and that no one's unless you guys pass that information to us, we can't tell them. Well, I can't give them an answer whether. And matter of fact, he asked, this is a conversation I had today. When was the last time we had a study? And I said, I don't have an answer. I'm going to have to ask and find out. So I'm glad that you mentioned that you have a study, but it'd be important for you to share that with us as soon as it happens, so that we could disseminate it. I think that's going to be one of the best matters, just to keep them informed and educated, so that they know that we are, truly committed to our community. If we don't have the information to pass along, they're basically just going to tell us that, you're not doing your job as a representative. And so, I have to make the argument like, listen, we sit in meetings and we have this discussion all the time. When we just passed this new development service, this new development with right off of 312 and 12th Avenue, we had a lengthy discussion on how what's going to trigger to get a traffic signal. So 312 does not change at all. So thank you for that. And if there's any other concerns or anything, Mr. Manager, I'll pass it over to you, and you guys kind of help get that information so we can pass it forward to our community. Just and another question.
Also, Councilman, one other thing that might be helpful to you is if you ever want us to put a constituent in touch with the people that we talk to, sometimes it's easier for us if they hear directly from the source.
It'd be nice to have a recording or a video or something. So I said, here it is, because again, they have they don't want to hear no. Government, they don't want to hear no. You guys know that better than anyone else. And so even with myself, to get in an argument with that person and say, listen, trust me, I don't want to say no to you. I want to say yes, but there's a policy in place that needs a trigger in order to implement it. And so you should know that as a board member, but they still don't want to understand that. So if we give them that information, then we could, that will solve the problem. Hopefully when they have their board meetings, association meetings, then they could truly say that, what, I did speak to them, when that issue continues to arise on their behalf. So I need some help on that, so I appreciate that. I know this question is in regards to the ATVs, ATCs. We've got some emails, this came recently. I know Councilman Burgess, that's your district. But I kind of just wanted to chime in on it, just because I know that as I go throughout Miami, I have friends and family and folks that always talk to me about, they know who I am, and I'm from Homestead, and they kind of hear that Homestead is like ATV town. Like if you have an ATV, that's, other than 8th Street, the other hot place to be is Homestead. And sometimes I'm traveling down the turnpike and I'm seeing all these ATVs stacked up on the back of trailers, getting hauled down there to go mudding, and then I see them leaving as well. And then obviously I do see them at the car wash on US 1 and where the Walmart is, cleaning their ATVs after a long day of mudding. So I know the emails talked about that, they worked on it in the past, but where are we on that? And then Councilman Burgess, please, as your representative for that area, if you've had any communication, please chime in as well.
Well, I know in the past that our police department has been on top of it. One of the biggest problems we run into out there is that the activities don't happen inside our jurisdiction. So we have our hands are kind of tied as to what we can do as a city and what the police department can do out there, and the chief can answer better. But that's the biggest thing, is that these people may be entering into Florida, entering to ride in through Homestead or through a back road of Homestead, and unfortunately, where that one particular neighborhood backs up, immediately on the other side of the canal is another jurisdiction for the most part, and that's where the activities take. And unfortunately, those other two jurisdictions that should be taking responsibility and helping the neighbors fail to do it for whatever reason. I know there's been many task force, many meetings, and this has been an ongoing email process, and our police chief and his command staff have asked FWC, Miami-Dade, Florida City, and any other agencies that wanted to partake. The Homeland Security people with the Black Hawk have been involved to try to do some stuff. And unfortunately, our hands are tied because we can only do so much before it falls upon somebody else's lap, and and that ties us up. But in our defense, our police department is there every time they're called, and they'll look across the canal, or they'll look, and the people ride off into the dust, and there's nothing that we can do. And I think that they've come to the realization, unfortunately, that they can do that out there with no repercussions from the agencies that need to be there to do it. And it's at no fault from our police department or from the cities trying, because like I said, and the chief or Colonel Kennedy could tell you, or how many meetings and how many times they've personally gone out and spoke to the homeowners out there, and and tried to explain to them and what to do. And we're at that crossroads again. But if we don't get cooperation from other people, there's only so much that the city of Homestead can do to ensure the privacy or the quietness of a neighborhood out there when it backs up to another jurisdiction.
Kind of along the same lines as what was dealing with, we're talking with Julio, in the sense that, it's important for us to let that community know that we are doing our part.
And they have. Colonel Kennedy's gone out and spoken to people in their driveways on many occasions when I've sent him requests before, or emails that have come directly to me, or phone calls that have been made to me. He's gone out there, his command staff's gone out there, the chief. They've invited people to come to the police department so they can sit down and talk with them. So they've all been out there. And they go out there whenever they're requested. And I forwarded the emails that we received this past weekend, I forwarded them right on to them again. And, some of the names are familiar names that have been spoken to before. Some of them are new and may need to realize, and may need to get the full story of what's going on out there. And I know that their representative from that area was here earlier, but he's left. Bill Thibault was here earlier. I don't know where he went off, and maybe he didn't get signed up for public comment in time or something. I'm sure that's what he was here about tonight, is that's one of the things. So I know that our police department will reach out and talk to anybody they want to about that. But unfortunately, like I said, and the chief can back me up, our hands are tied. We can't cross that canal and do any enforcement.
Right. And I'm thinking, I just saw, we've seen in the news, unfortunately, that, it's now become a tradition where ATVers do the Martin Luther King holiday season. They're taking to the streets and riding, and I saw how Miami-Dade kind of put a task force together to combat some of that, those issues, as best possible, obviously, because it's pretty crazy. But there's folks coming from other states just to join that. So I don't know if whatever they did up here is something they could do down here, or they care to do it. Just my concern, because I would be concerned if I lived there and heard the gunshots and have fires and having all that noise at throughout the evening. And so just I read those emails and my heart goes out to them because I know how I would feel. And so I just wanted to kind of bring that up as a discussion item. So I know, Chief, you don't have to say much. I know you guys are on top of it. I just wanted to kind of bring it up. And I know we've done our part, but just kind of want to keep pushing that forward. At least I want them to know that we are aware of it and that we're trying our best, and let's see what we can do for our part. So that's it for that. And then just the last item is just to kind of how Councilman Shelley just chimed in regards to after seeing this video, I too, my tradition has been the first day of the new year is to take my girls, and something we used to do with my wife before she passed away. We used to take the first day of the year and we would take a trip over to the Everglades, and it's always beautiful. I enjoy it. It's beautiful. It's tranquil. And I just went last week at the cold snap that we had. It was, when it's cold, you need to go out there. It's pretty cool. It's a great experience. So it's good to see how a visioning session that we had when we all first came on board in 2010, 2011, I'm not sure when we did it, but to see the fruit of our labor, it's exciting to see. So to see Josh go nuts out there and enjoy it and experience what we have in our backyard and say, hey, you got to go out and check it out. It's a good feeling. So I'm glad, like yourself, Councilman Shelley, I'm sure the rest of the staff, to see that come to fruition. So my hats off to everyone who got on board on that. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Roth.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to throw out a big congratulations to the Vice Mayor and city staff for the unforgettable Martin Luther King breakfast last Friday. I've been to several of those, and without a doubt, that was probably the most remarkable one I've attended so far. So congratulations, Vice Mayor, staff, you guys who put that event on. Unbelievable preparation, presentation. The breakfast was great. Just congratulations on that. Also, we have the rodeo in town this week. I just wanted to remind everybody about that. They started out today with their family night with Little Miss Britches and the little pageant they do out there. Unfortunately, I couldn't be out there for that. Then they have the Buck Off tomorrow night, which is a cool event that's also tag teamed with what they call Poop Bingo. Poop Bingo is a true bingo game where a cow is selected, and they put a big grid out there, and people buy tickets, and the money that's raised through those ticket sales goes to charity. And if the cow does his business on your number, you win that 50-50 draw. So anybody can come out there tomorrow night. That's a free event. The Poop Bingo tickets are $10, and there's 3 charities that are involved in that, so you can support one of the charities. And then obviously the rodeo's on Friday and Saturday and Sunday this year. The parade was moved up 1 hour. I don't know if that the public knows that, and maybe the chief and you guys can verify that, but I think the parade starts at 10 o'clock this year instead of 11 o'clock. So I don't know if the public knows that, but it's been traditionally at 11. So if you show up at 11, it might have already happened. So you might want to get out there a little bit earlier this year. So the parade is at 10 o'clock. So just go out there and enjoy the rodeo. A couple of things for city staff. I've noticed along the Farm Life, underneath the overpass, there's a lot of graffiti that's gathered there again. I know it's been patched many times. I don't know who's responsible, if that's the Turnpike, FDOT, or if it's us that takes care of the graffiti that's on the support poles underneath the Turnpike overpass there. And I remember seeing when City Hall first opened, directional signs on US 1 directing people up Second Drive that leads into 100 Civic Court, and I don't see them there anymore. I know the one that was facing, it was in the northbound lane, began to lean, and maybe it fell over or something. It's just not there anymore. So there's no directional signs taking people off of US 1 to City Hall. That may be by design, I don't know. You may not want visitors, I don't know, but those aren't there anymore. And I did want to also talk about the ATV traffic out there. We talked about it already. And what concerns me more about the activities that go on out there, which is not within the boundaries of the city of Homestead, is that they're actually firing guns out there. And they're out there all hours of the night. I have a friend that lives on the road that leads into the fairwaves to the north of that hears ATVs traveling up and down those roads at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And they're not going slow. They're high-speed vehicles that they're traveling up and down there. So I don't know what can be done to ease some of the concerns of the people that live in Keysgate themselves, but when that stuff happens outside of our jurisdiction, I understand where our hands are tied. But can we put some of the onus on property owners to secure their properties out there where there is no access to those areas? I don't know how that would work either. And I'm not sure who borders those areas. Obviously, there's the canal, and we all got hammered this weekend with these emails, and it's obviously a concern to those people. They have a right to enjoy quiet living in their neighborhoods, and I don't think that they want to hear the word no either, Elvis. They want to know that we, as a body, as a city, will protect our citizens against this type of a nuisance. So I don't know how we come together with some kind of a task force that you said has been put together before, or we continue to stress to the agencies that patrol those areas, whether it be Florida Wildlife Commission, Florida City, Miami-Dade County, that somebody's eventually going to get shot out there. If that does happen, eyes will wake up. And it may not be the responsibility of our police department to take care of it. And that person may be left out there for a few days, and they may run off like cowards do and say, "Oh, we didn't know he got shot out there." But that could become a homicide scene out there. So I know somebody in his room is smart enough to figure out who to contact, who to call, who to say, "We have a problem. We don't want it to escalate. We don't want anybody to take it into their own hands to go out there and say, listen, you're disturbing my family right now," and get into an altercation out there. So I think the more we talk about it, the more the residents come out and talk about it, and maybe we can inform them on who they can call, whether it be Florida Wildlife, Miami-Dade County, Florida City, property owners around that area. And I know some of the stuff happens inside the city because they were complaining this week about them being up and down the golf course, riding through the, and there's houses that line that golf course too. So I don't want to harp on it too long. I've already gone too far on it. But, reach out to us. We'll figure out a way to get you connected with the people you should call that can enforce some of those rules out there. And, I feel for them as well because our hands are tied. Our police department is the hardest working police department in Miami-Dade County. But if it's outside of our district, if it's outside of our city, and trust me, our police department responds to a lot of things outside of our city. We help Florida City a lot. I hear them all the time helping Miami-Dade County. It's not that our city doesn't want to enforce. They can't enforce out there. So reach out. We'll get you the information you need. And we want you to feel safe, and we want you to live comfortably and quietly in your neighborhoods. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Burgess, you.
Well, just a quick follow-up. As Mr. Roth mentioned, something about reaching out to people, and I got a letter yesterday also from Tim Craig, who represents the board, and they have reached out to the landowners out there, and unfortunately, some have been unresponsive. One gentleman and his company, Atlantic Civil, said, if I read the letter correctly, and this is me paraphrasing, do as you need. We're here to help. But the other 2 or 3 that would be great helps to cutting off the lifeline to back down there have been unresponsive as of to this date too. So just a little more follow-up on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, Mayor, I'd just like to add on this topic that the police chief and I were actually out there with the previous mayor, and we were out there with the mayor of Florida City, the Florida City police chief. We certainly have done everything we can from an awareness perspective, but one thing we can't do is patrol areas that are outside of our jurisdiction. So, it's kind of a catch-22 here.
Mr. Burgess?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, one suggestion, and this is, and I don't know if it's even legally able. I know that a lot of them put in over there off of 344 back there behind the racetrack. So, you know, there's a side road, and you'll go down there on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon, and you'll have 20, 30 trucks lined up along there where they're unloading. And just, you know, perhaps we go out there and try to shut them down or whatever on that road or just, you know, I don't know what to do, but, you know, that's one spot that I know a lot of them put in at and take off from. And perhaps if we can shut them down over there, or we do a DUI crackdown on them a couple weekends in a row or something when they're coming out of there, and not that all of them are, but it just, you know, some of them do go out there and drink and stuff, because I've witnessed it. So anyway, just a suggestion. You know, you guys brought up my major concern tonight was those letters that we received from homeowners over in the fairways, the majority of, and another problem that we're having over there and on the east side of town is the blasting again from over there. I received a couple of complaints about that too, and the house is shaking and, you know, foundations cracking and things breaking. So I don't know who, and that's been an ongoing battle, and I know Mr. Bray has been involved, and we've spoken to fire marshals, we've spoken to people at the state level, and I don't know what to do about that either. It's another one that falls outside of our city limits, and it falls on deaf ears when you go to another city council that resides next to us. So maybe we as a body need to start writing some letters or show up down there and request some help, as they have no problem in reaching out and requesting help from us on many issues. So perhaps we as a body should send a letter over there requesting some help, you know, because we certainly do give them a lot of help on many issues. So with that, I'll leave it at that tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. I would say this, a few years ago when the blasting was closer to Homestead, it was much more significant. And the manager at the time was Kurt Ivey. We ended up in Tallahassee fighting against the rock industry, the statewide rock industry. And their lobbying efforts far outweighed anything that has to do with this issue here. So it's an uphill battle, and we wanted to be able to have local regulation or have some local oversight over the industry. And the industry did not want any local oversight. They wanted oversight in Tallahassee, which was so far removed from the people's ability to complain. So that's a real problem, and it shakes, and it has been for years. Can't seem to get any help from the state legislature. But Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I continue to be engaged with the Together for Children initiative, which is designed to determine the root causes of youth violence in our community and come up with solutions and strategies to support children and their families as it has gripped our communities. And on last night, I was honored to be joined by Councilman Maldonado, Councilman Larry Roth, representation from the Homestead Police Department, Captain Washington, and Debbie from SOS, as we obtained updates and provided feedback on some next steps as we finalized the plans to bring back to our communities. And some information that I wanted to obtain from our police department, because we're doing more than most municipalities, and it's very important that we highlight that. So as far as the POW gym, if you can provide me with the amount of students that are serviced after school, the hours of operation, and the type of services that are being provided to those children. With SOS, the amount of students that they're servicing after school, the hours of operation, and the level of services. And if there are any grants, I understand that they're writing 3 grants. They're for the Children's Trust. What are those grants for? The goal, the purpose, the target audience, and how many? Because I will be bringing an agenda item in February, and it's very important for me to obtain that information from what we're doing as a city, and I will also be obtaining that information from all of our local schools so that the community can have a clear picture of what we're doing in Homestead. We're not sitting here doing nothing. There may be some on social media and all these places saying, what is Homestead doing? We're doing a lot. And it's very important that that information is properly and effectively conveyed. So if you can provide me with that information, or if you have some that you would like to share tonight, I greatly appreciate it.
I just received a packet from Sandy and Annie and also Captain Washington. We do have a lot, and I don't, I can't really get into it tonight, but I'm going to share that with you and the rest of the council. So probably first thing in the morning, I'll give you what we have, and you'll be able to see it, and you can take it, and share it with the public, because it is a lot.
Okay.
And we do a lot, and we get a lot of grants. Just like you said, we don't share it because people don't ask, but now that you're asking about it, we definitely have it, and we'll share it with them.
Okay.
So I really appreciate that.
I'll include that in the packet for the agenda items that I'll be bringing forth in February. And finally, I'd just like to thank staff. Dennis, you definitely delivered for the MLK breakfast. Karen, that breakfast would not have been successful without the effective execution from staff. The community really enjoyed the event. Not only was it designed to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King, but it also showcased the city of Homestead, and you did a great job at showcasing our community. It was a great show from council, from staff, from the police department. It was a job well done, and thank you all for the role that you played in pulling that off. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I want to echo Mr. Roth's comments. It was probably one of the best, and the superintendent was outstanding in you were outstanding. Everything was just first class all the way around, so congratulations and a really great job, Over the weekend, and it was a holiday weekend, and I know there was an accident on 4th Street south of Maury, and a telephone pole was taken out. That knocked half of an apartment complex out. And I don't know all of the circumstances behind it, but I'd like for us as a team to figure out what was done right and what was done possibly not correct. But of no consequence of theirs, the apartment complex was out of power until midday Monday. And, it's I just think we need to do an analysis on this process, because there's got to be some sort of temporary action that we can take to get somebody up and running at least through a long weekend. So, Mr. Manager, I would just request that you have the team look at this from all angles, because it's just inappropriate that we can't get somebody back up and running on a temporary basis. And then if there's a situation we have to clean up, we can clean it up when everybody's back at work. So just do us a favor and let's take a look at that, please. And I don't know the exact address, but I think Chief, you and the command staff can get that. And then Barbara's team was out there Monday getting the power back turned on, but after this happened Friday night. So I think we need to just take a look at that and let's do an analysis if we can make that process better. Also, before Julio, we spoke about, the sequencing of the lights on Chrome. And right now, you cannot get on Chrome Avenue south of 8th Street, that it's not backed up through downtown. And once you clear the 8th Street signal, it seems to open up and do a whole lot better. But for some reason, that intersection, the light is not open long enough, or something is wrong. We've got a sequencing problem. I know we've talked about this before, but please get somebody to take a look at that, because
we'll make it happen.
It's horrible what's going on there. I mean, every road has problems, I know, but that's just not clearing correctly for some reason. So please have them take a look at that and push on that, please.
We'll take care of that.
Obviously, we all know we have some appointments to some committees. Public Art Committee, we have 7 members being asked to be appointed. Community Relations Board, we have 7 members. Is there a motion to appoint those members to those 2 boards? Is there a second? All in favor? Motion carries. Also, want to remind everyone, we do have 3 vacancies open on the Planning and Zoning Board, and that is a mandatory board that needs to be functioning and we're down to close to not being able to meet quorum on any given meeting. So I've got a few applications, and if council members have any other ideas of people, encourage them to submit applications so we can take a look and get that board filled. If nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn? Moved and seconded? Hello, Mr. Maldonado?
I know everyone wants to leave already, but Mayor, you brought something I was going to talk about, and it completely slipped my mind, but you brought it up just right now in regards to utilities. Can I ask a question? What is our policy in regards to cutting off power during the holiday seasons? Day before Christmas, day before New Year's Eve, and maybe to this council to think about how we address this. I got a phone call that on New Year's Eve, we were out doing our job, cutting off power, and there was a family that was without utilities because of a mix-up, and so I want to at least bring it up to council, see if we consider maybe either changing or adding policy or finding out what's our policy in regards to cutoff before the holidays. I just kind of see it as, if they're doing their job, slamming off power and families without utilities just doesn't sit right with me. And so I don't know if I want to kind of open this up now but yeah.
Okay, per the city ordinance, we're not allowed to disconnect services a day prior to the holidays. So the day before the holidays, there's no disconnection of services. And over the Christmas holidays, as a matter of fact, we stopped disconnecting services, I think, probably around the 18th or the 19th of the month, and we did not disconnect for non-payment after that point until the new year.
Okay, so then and that's fine, that's what I would want to hear, but so I'll bring up the one case that happened and we could find out what happened there, because I had to end up, making some phone calls to try to scramble someone to try to help out, family, they had kids at home, they were away, and, the power was cut off, so that was my question in regards to that. So thank you, good answer, that's what I wanted to hear, and then I'll bring up the other one later on. That's it, thank you.
All in favor of the motion? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.